What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, boys and girls? I hope your weekend was a real good one because you know what? I'm about to make it even better for you guys. I have more content for you. Now, I'm just going to let you know this isn't just a normal Xbox fanboy, having their, let the mask slip a little bit. No. What we have here is some of that premium fanboy stuff. That top quality, that king status of content. Now, before we start this video, I know you guys like me showing off the bugs and everything, so I'm going to show 3 videos off, or maybe 4, either one, to show you the quality content that Microsoft gave us for that solid $70.
Okay.
Excuse me. What? Klutzy, go look at my stream.
Okay. Hold on. No, guys,
this is the 8th time.
Let me see. Hold on. Don't ads. Get out of the way. Let me see. What's going on? All right, so you're climbing. There's a red laser. You fall down. Oh, I see the issue.
This is the 8th fucking time. What the fuck? That bomb tower just went through everything like Okay. Here's one problem with this whole fucking thing. 1, you are petrified. 2, how the fuck are you moving?
3, why are you here? Screw you.
What the fuck? Okay, I'm getting this clip. Hold on. Gara, don't move. Don't. Oh, your dude is
Get
like,
over here! Get over here! I want to give you a hug!
No, get away from me!
It still boggles the mind that video games like this are allowed to be in the market still. But hey, you know what? We're not here for that lecture. We're here to rip a fanboy apart.
You know what's funny? I'm a little bit disappointed with some of the reactions around Redfall. Now, as far as I could tell, there's this subsect of gamers that just salivate at the idea of an Xbox game not scoring well.
I'm sorry, but you really have no room to talk in this situation. Bruh, I am looking at your channel right now. You want to jump people's asses about, being PlayStation fanboys or fanboys in general? Your whole channel is dedicated to Xbox. And on top of being dedicated to Xbox, you're also dedicated to making these clickbaity videos of gloom and doom for the PlayStation brand. Wait, no, this can't be the same dude that... You didn't stop to ask the hardcore fans that stuck by Xbox if this is even what we wanted. It's not. And sad to say, I canceled my Quantum Break pre-order as I said I would. You weren't upfront about Quantum Break going to PC. You canceled a pre-order for a game you wanted to play because someone else got to play the game on Windows? Yeah, hey, Crap Gamer, you have no room to talk about people being fanboys in any of this situation. You've definitely shown your colors.
Now, an interesting thing about that whole situation is they've had the long wait. About 3 years? Microsoft's first party hadn't really missed in, I would say, 3 years' time.
See, they didn't have to wait 3 years for a failure to come out, okay? Bleeding Edge, Gunk, Hello Neighbor 2, Scorn, Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide. That's what it's called. Shredders, Second Extinction. God, that game's worse than Ark. And one fucking game that I built up that, a lot of people subscribe to me for, Halo fucking Infinite. The game was so bad, I made so many compilations and so many videos of going to the back history of 343 and how badly they treated their customers and how badly they treated Halo as a single franchise. Hell, even Moist Critical has dubbed 343 the worst developers of all time. Are we PlayStation fanboys? I'm really curious in this situation.
Believe it or not, I would say that the lowest one that they had was recently for the Minecraft Legends, which I'd say that was about an average score. I think anything in the 7s, 70s.
Yeah, no, I don't want to play Minecraft Legends because that shit looks boring as hell. I would rather go play Minecraft and build me another dirt house versus playing Minecraft Legends because that shit got boring after watching a solid hour let's play of that game.
Is an average score. 80s is really, really good. 90s, obviously, great. So when we look at this and we go, what's the deal with this? Why is there so many people out there just waiting for Microsoft to fail? And here's the even more interesting part. I've got so much to say about this that it's all coming out at one time. So when it comes to Redfall, right, you have early reviews that some of them leaked out, some of them weren't great. Some people are just jumping on it. Of course, the typical no-lifers, they jump on it and try to throw it back in your face. Oh, look, it's another bad game. The same exact people that were hyping up for Spoken, for PlayStation 5, right? These are the same people that were doing that and saying that review scores don't matter.
I'm going to say this right now. Review scores do matter. And I'm going to tell you the simple reason why. Because they give us a lot of information that's depending on what's going on with the game at that current time. Now, do all the reviews matter? Not really. Because you'll look into the comment section and you'll see, Unga Boonga, game bad because it's woke. Unga Boonga, it's like, some reviews do matter. But not all of them do, for the simple fact is that they don't add anything to the discussion. And like I said previously with you, you are literally doing the same thing that these people do. You just make these videos that are clickbait, doom and gloom for the PlayStation brand. Mur, mur, mur.
Now all of a sudden the review scores matter, and this is all Microsoft's fault. They don't know how to handle, their businesses. They can't run studios. They can't do this. They can't do that. Interesting fact though, Hi-Fi Rush released earlier in the year, and people said Microsoft gets none of that credit because that game was already in development before Microsoft bought them. So I'm confused. They're both Bethesda games, and same with Starfield. I have a feeling that game's going to score extremely well, and people are going to say Microsoft had nothing to do with it.
I don't want this to go out in the universe, but I'm going to say this real quickly. If Starfield fails and is just as bad as Redfall, or even worse, the internet's going to tear Microsoft apart. PlayStation fanboys are going to be the least of your problem. Do you remember when Halo Infinite was released? How badly the reception was? For like a week or two, they were lambasting the fuck out of 343 for the absolute failure that they did. And then they went to Microsoft and started to lambast them. And like I said earlier, if Starfield does not deliver, this shitstorm that will be coming for Microsoft will be unfathomable.
Because it was in development before they bought them. But apparently, any Redfall issues are 100% Microsoft's fault. Nobody else's fault but Microsoft. And they can't manage a studio to save their life.
Well, let's think about this real quickly. This is an Xbox-owned studio that Microsoft bought out, okay? 2, they have full control of when this game needs to be released, okay? Total control under Microsoft. Microsoft or Xbox in this situation could have delayed this game for another year or two and we would have been fine with it. Iron out the bugs, take care of everything, start flushing out the world correctly, because in the game, the world itself is empty. All you got is like little vampires just standing there going, yeah. Instead of having these little events that happen within the world, say like, I don't know, there's a vampire standing there attacking some civilians. One person's on the ground and the other person's trying to protect them. We just stumble upon it and we're trying to protect the civilian. No, all we get is like a world that is just empty going derp by derp, derp by derp. And frankly, I don't blame for people thinking this way. I mean, for the love of God, look what happened to Halo Infinite.
This is basically the catch-22 that Microsoft finds themselves in. And I think it's utterly ridiculous. Ridiculous. Now, my passion for this wavered here and there. It just wasn't fun for me to sit there and do videos when people are just being so ignorant. You know what I mean? But it's like, again, that thing that got me into doing this in the first place was everybody just hating on Xbox, and I didn't understand it. Right? If video games are all about the games, then why wouldn't you want to go with an Xbox One?
Well, I can answer that very simply. See, all the big titles that Microsoft has released recently, except for Hi-Fi Rush, have been absolute flops. And PlayStation recently, maybe Forspoken was pretty bad, but some of the other games that they do have on their platform, like Demon Souls, God of War, you name it right now, a lot of people are enjoying versus dealing with Second Extinction, Gunk, Hello Neighbor 2, Scorn, Bleeding Edge, and Halo Infinite. Also, for the majority of the reason why a lot of people are probably not buying an Xbox right now is due to the fact that they would rather buy a PC, get, what was it called, PC Game Pass, get the games through there and just play on PC instead of being constricted to a console where you could barely do anything versus what you could do on PC.
They literally pooed all over the PlayStation 4 for the first year and a plus, few years of the especially that first year, right? Like, maybe you loved Resogun and Knack, but geez, Microsoft was offering great stuff with Titanfall, with Sunset Overdrive, with Forza Horizon 2, with Dead Rising 3. These were solid games.
Dead Rising 3 was such a fucking mess on launch. My god, the glitches on there were just absolutely horrible, along with the bugs. Sometimes certain mechanics on there wouldn't work. On top of that, the weapon variety that they had on there on release really sucked. Unless you pre-ordered it, got some DLC out of it, then it was fun. But if you didn't, the game was gutless. Now, Titanfall's multiplayer was actually fun, but a lot of people were pissed at the certain fact that there was no story mode. And the story mode that was there, it was in multiplayer. And I'm going to tell you, I got really confused. None of it made sense to me. I don't understand why they went down the road of putting story mode within multiplayer, which you jumped from, like, you know, you were supposed to be at chapter 1, you'd be at chapter 5, chapter 3, then chapter 7. It was everywhere, and it was an absolute mess. But Titanfall with the multiplayer was actually fun. Oh, and let's not forget the fantastic game that was released on the Xbox One. You know, a certain game called Halo 5 Guardians. And remember that one on fucking launch? Barely working, buggy mess, microtransaction-ridden game? Yeah, I remember it. And Microsoft and 343 sure does remember that. Oh, and thinking about remembering certain things. Hey, remember that love letter of a game that they were making that we're going to give to the Halo fans? Remember Halo MCC? Remember when that launched? Man, that was a real love letter from Microsoft, wasn't it, guys? Or my absolute favorite thing about the Xbox One was the pure fact that you could not turn on your own Xbox without having the fucking Kinect to it. That thing was just absolutely horrible. It was like spyware attached to a gaming console that I just wanted to play. But no, Microsoft thought it was the most brilliant idea to connect to it. And thank God Phil Spencer came around and just threw that in the fucking trash. Oh, and if anybody remembers back in the day too, a lot of the Xbox fanboys were saying this too. How did the power of the cloud go? How did it go with Crackdown 3? Not good? Not good at all? Yeah. Color me surprised. And let's not forget about that little DRM that they wanted to do and prevent you from sharing your games with friends. It's not like they totally just gave a win to Sony in that situation. Now, did they?
That they were putting out and they were getting crapped on, right? Last I checked, video games were about the games themselves. Microsoft having more first-party content this year than Sony, that's not an imaginary thing. It's a real thing. Microsoft has better lineup from the first party this year.
The only two notable games that they have left to release, and this is my Xbox I'm talking about, guys, is Stalker 2 and Starfield. And the two other notable games that are releasing on PlayStation exclusively are Final Fantasy 16 and motherfucking Spider-Man 2. Now, for all we know, we may get a nice little hidden gem just come out of nowhere, like Hi-Fi Rush. But as it looking right now, I really, really doubt that's even going to happen. Also, just because they have more than PlayStation does not equal equality. Because God knows Microsoft right now needs to get their head in the game right now and do quality control on their games.
No matter what anybody else says, that's a factual thing. Sony admitted one game, one big game from the first party within the fiscal year. That's all. It's going to be Spider-Man 2. When is that going to release? I don't really know. I don't think anybody knows. But at the same time, I'm sitting here looking at this and seeing all the people trying to hate on this and going, oh, well, it's janky and there's this and the poor performance. And then I look over and I see this new Jedi game, which ran like crap on PC, ran like crap on Xbox, ran like crap on PlayStation 5, yet sits at an 87 Metacritic score.
Here's the big difference between Redfall and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Here is the huge difference. One game has a world that actually has different things within it, like wildlife, actual things that are alive and moving around, little events that happen, enemies that are actually engageable, that are actually funny. And that same game actually has puzzles in it where you can enjoy it. It has lore in there that's actually attractable. And not to mention, the map on there is a lot better than the other one. And to dogpile on top of that, there's actually cosmetics in here that actually look interesting. Plus, they have bosses within the world that is interesting to look at and fight against. Now, this other game has a looter mechanic in it to where you have to get stronger equipment just to play the game, along with rarities that are just same from Destiny that just get boring and repetitive. The bosses within the game are just absolutely bland. They have nothing remarkable or memorable. And in this game, you'll encounter more bugs than you did in the other one. So chat, please tell me something. Which game would you rather play? Game A or Game B?
And nobody brought up any performance issues. So I'm not even 100% sure what this thing's going to end up scoring. A good guess would be probably somewhere in the 70s. But with that being said, if they're going to knock them for performance issues, then why are none of these other games getting knocked for performance issues?
Here's a bit of a spoiler since you decided to stick your head in the sand. Guess what? Digital Foundry did a video on this and practically named it the worst PC port of 2022. Oh, 2023. I'm sorry, guys. And guess what? News articles picked this up and they started lambasting the shit out of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. All you're doing right now is trying to look for a scapegoat so you could just say, well, this game didn't perform well enough. It didn't get as much as hatred as this game. Meh, meh, meh. All you're really doing is looking for a scapegoat. That's all you're looking for.
Are some of you familiar with Star Trek? Like, I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan, but I know what the Kobayashi Maru is. It's basically a training simulation that they put, you know, the students through, and it's a lose-lose situation or a no-win situation, and they want to see how people react to it. Well, of course, in lore, Captain Kirk, before he was Captain Kirk, he rigged it so that he could win because he doesn't believe in no-win situations. But Microsoft is literally in no-win situations. What can they do? What are they able to do about this? Right? What can they do? If they release a game and it's good, they get told they had nothing to do with it. If they release a game and it's bad, they get crapped on and said they don't know how to run a studio and it's all their fault. So literally, I'm waiting for that one PlayStation fan to kind of just rap with me here. Like, what's the deal? What is going on with this?
Okay, seriously? Ignore the fanboys. The fanboys are going to fanboy anyway, just like you are right now. What we expect out of Microsoft is for the fucking quality. You know, they charge us $70 for games now, for first-party games, unless you got Game Pass. That's a different story. But they're going to charge you $70 for quality, which Microsoft themselves said that we're going to, if we charge you guys $70, we're going to give you quality in return. And let me tell you something. Redfall right now, the performance issues it has right now, and the bugs are not its only problem. It's a boring, bland world with nothing to offer except for pain and misery. Actually, let me show you guys the final boss and how boring and bland it is.
Thank God we don't have to do all that again.
Yeah, all this had to do was beat Forspoken was. All this had to do to beat Forspoken was function properly, and it can't even do that.
It literally cannot even function properly.
Both companies, Sony and Microsoft, took a massive L this year.
Well, that Forspoken wasn't even Sony though.
True.
Forspoken wasn't Sony. They just paid to keep it locked down.
Time exclusive, yeah.
That was probably the worst investment they've ever made.
Let's just speedrun through this
Yep.
whole thing. Are you serious? That's nice, the minute that we finish this, I'm shocked. I got it. I'll protect you.
No, I got it. Okay, so she's dead.
Ow, that did a lot.
All right, go this way. Go. I don't think so. Do we do something
Where the
over
hell
here?
are we supposed to
Oh,
do?
wait, no, we go here. I understand.
Oh, are we supposed to go?
We stake her.
Oh.
My bad. My bad.
It literally looks like
Now, yes, that was the final boss, and a lot of you are asking, Gara, why weren't you in that video? What happened? Are you putting some smoke and mirrors up in front of us? No, I'm about to show you what happened. So help me fucking God.
Okay, come on, we just have to bring it back.
I have to say, it's amazing that I am the only one who crashed through all that. Through that entire
yeah,
thing.
I'm shocked.
Thank God it was you and not me.
No, I'm actually
You know
it was
what?
you though.
I'm not gonna say what I'm
All right,
glad
back to the
for
thing, back to the
because
thing. Go.
oh, back. Yeah, where? Go where? Back to what thing?
What do you think? To the thing.
Oh, the festival. Yeah, the festival.
You motherfucker. You fucking piece of shit of a game. You mother. You piece of shit. You piece of shit. This
no,
game.
did it
I'm done.
crash?
I'm fucking. No, I'm done. No. Also, do I really need to say any more? Also, stop by the streams. We actually have a lot of fun, streaming with others, hanging out with others, and just having a grand old time. Anyway, back to the video.
Right, and then I get it. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what this game's going to score. I'm excited for the game. I think review scores do matter. I think they absolutely do. But I think people are going to play what they want to play. If they're excited for it, then they should play it. And the fact that Microsoft has, games coming out this year and Sony doesn't, I can see why a lot of their fans are sort of, I guess I want to say, up in arms over this stuff.
One thing I will agree with Crap Gamer in this situation, if you love a game and how it functions and it feels, that's totally on you, totally fine. But to disregard other people's opinions on the game of how it functions and how it feels, just like how he's doing right now, that's not cool.
Because at the end of the day, it's just one of those things that kind of happens. And, Microsoft has really tried hard lately to make things right. And so the fact that everybody still wants to constantly just take a big crap on them time and time again, really just, I guess it kind of pisses me off, and it's just like, this is just video games, I get it, but why does it seem like the whole deck is stacked against Xbox? Like, what do people really want?
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want out of this whole situation with Microsoft. I want Microsoft to make great games, quality games, and keep their promises like they promised us. If we pay $70, we expect quality out of it. Just like I expect out of Sony, since they raised the price on their games, their consoles, and pretty much other pieces of media they've came out with. I keep the same energy with the companies that, I am critiquing, like unlike you can, you can't keep that same energy.
Right? As every game that Xbox released got to be a 95 Game of the Year winner, while meanwhile, everybody else can get away with dropping duds here and there. Microsoft can't. In 3 years, Microsoft has dropped critically acclaimed games, including 2021, where they won actually for having the absolute best all-time average Metacritic score per release as a publisher. Best all-time, right? They have not missed in 3 years, and yet people want to dump on them all the time. It's the same thing with, like, delayed games, right? Everybody goes, Microsoft sucks, they can't handle anything, they're delaying games. And I'm like, didn't just about every company delay a game at some point over the last couple of years? In fact, all 3 of Sony's major new AAA games last year were delayed from the previous year. And they only have 1 game announced, and that's confirmed now, to come out over the next year.
Yeah, that small minority of people crying about delays and all that garbage, they don't matter. That's all I'm going to say. What truly matters out of this whole situation, it's we as gamers get the quality games that we deserve. It doesn't matter what kind of piece of plastic that you have in front of you. What matters out of this situation, yet again, is that we get the quality games that we deserve. So please, let's snap back to reality and get back to what is normal and stop with these console wars, and especially people like you, I know for a fact aren't going to stop doing the console wars because you're profiting from the console wars. Also, I hate to say this, Halo Infinite still sucks to this day.
From the first party. And I would wager almost anything that internally a lot of their developers are having to push back because of the pandemic. The same thing that happened to Microsoft, but nobody will admit this stuff, right? It's so crazy to me. Nobody's willing to give anything half a shot. I get it, man. Like, they just want to hate on Xbox. They really hate Xbox for whatever reason. Like, you would think Xbox, like, slapped their mamas or something. All they've really done is give us the best the best in gaming that we've ever gotten. And I don't understand why people have anything to be upset about. On the other hand, you have Sony literally raise prices on the console, raise prices on games. They released VR for $600, no backwards compatibility, and they didn't even mention VR to their investors, meaning there's probably very little hope that that thing survives.
Boy, oh boy, we really have selective memory, don't we, Crap Gamer? For example, Xbox increased the price on their consoles too, and the first parties. You know, the whole problem with this whole thing, you know, the $70 the first party, you know, that quality content we were supposed to have. And you know what, Crap Gamer? A lot of people begged them to delay the game, okay? A lot of people begged them and they just completely ignored us. We would have been okay with another delay. Perfectly fine, not a big deal. But you know what they did? They ignored us and released the game anyway without any care in the world. And you know what? Since they decided to do that, they increased the price and ignored people begging them to delay this game, guess what happened? They got the justified backlash.
You know, I would imagine whatever crop of games that are heavily in development will get pushed out, but I don't see their first party going heavily into VR with games anymore, right? Like, they haven't done a showcase in 2 years. The PS5's only been on the market 2.5 years, and for the last 2 years, they haven't done a first party showcase. They haven't announced anything, right? Like, I mean, what does this company got to do to get a little bit of deserved ire from the fans, right? It's crazy to look at this and see how everybody's hating on Xbox and nobody's hating on PlayStation. Like, PlayStation is just exempt from any kind of criticism, exempt from any kind of anything. You know what I mean? If they get a bad score, it was biased. Well, take a look around, and the bias is clear, and the bias is in favor of PlayStation for whatever reason. And I gotta tell you, I'm kind of sick of it. I know some of you are too.
When Naughty Dog and Sony decided to release The Last of Us on PC, and in that state, they had a lot of backlash. And I'm not talking about it was minuscule, it was all over Twitter for like a solid 2 weeks. When Sony released Forspoken onto the PlayStation PC, they got backlash. I don't understand why you have selective memory, or you just want to be selective in this situation to make Microsoft look good in this situation. I really don't understand what you profit from this, except for just stirring up the console war so you can get clicks and views on your video. And thankfully, that is the end of his video. Holy God, that was a long ass video I've ever made in quite a while since the quantum stuff was going on. Oh, and Crap Gamer, if you have a problem with what I said,
and hey, if I'm saying something that's not true, do something about it.
And you know what? If you actually made it this far, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It really does help. And if you enjoyed this type of content, please leave a like and comment in the comment section. Helps with the algorithm, pushes my video out, and sends it out to other people too. And if you truly did like the content, please subscribe to the channel. It always helps, and it tells me, hey, Gar, I like this type of stuff. Keep doing more of it. But other than that, fam, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, fam.